You're tuned in to Grown Folks Production. In the mix. With the commish, Nate.
And just like that, here we go. Welcome to Press Pass Live, your weekly OMFL podcast show. Welcome to the OMFL playoffs. That's right, the world's longest and oldest online CFM. Started in 2001, PC League, still going today. We're going to talk all about the playoffs. I am flying solo, though. My buddy Maniac could not make it. I am on my second coffee of the day. Some would call it a coffee milk, but it is a Vietnamese coffee. I needed it. I needed that in my life today. It sort of is what it is. But thanks for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you. We're going to talk all about the playoffs today. We're going to look at the draft. We're going to open up the mailbag, which right now doesn't have anything in it. Everybody's full either playoff mode or checked out mode. And I get it. Checked out mode kind of makes sense. Don't worry about it. All right, let's get over here. Look at the playoffs. I'm flying solo, but I still got my guy Maniac. Well, regular stream down here, vertical stream. He's up there. Still got him with me in spirit. He had a family emergency that kept him from being able to join me today. And we are to our AFC and NFC championship. NFC sort of played out exactly how the seeding said they were going to play out. AFC, our guy Nipples. We've always talked about him. We've been talking about how when he is engaged, he is one of the top teams here. And looks like he decided to get engaged all of a sudden. Not married engaged, just engaged into the league. Let's look over here. Dallas takes out the Commanders 27-3. Dallas plays exceptionally good defense. They do it again today. His offense is just efficient. You got to force him into some turnovers, and you better get those early and capitalize, on them. You can see Washington just unable to get anything going here. 280 yards gain, 126 on the ground, but only 139 in the air. He did pretty good with the first downs, did pretty good with just kind of time of possession, did his best to sort of hang in there, but just not enough to get over the hump and get points. The rookie quarterback, Cody Raines, who I think is a superstar waiting to happen, struggled today. 29 was his long, 2 interceptions, 3 sacks, 52% completion percentage is where he falls. Derrick Henry had a pretty good day, though. 149 yards on the ground, 9.9 yards per carry. That's tough when you hold the big guy Pollard down to 18, but Henry busts loose for 149. It looks like Dallas just continued to feed the hot hand. Dotson with a pretty good day, 6 receptions for 89, almost said 84. And then you can look at this defense for Dallas. Just Micah Parsons knows how to just get after the quarterback and make things happen. And that's exactly what they did today. Trayvon Diggs with 2 interceptions. Chase Young with an interception. Must have been some kind of screen or tip pass. But Dallas comes away with a victory early in round number 1. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a 38-31 victory over the Carolina Panthers. This was a super close game. What's up, Chris? Chris is Bird? I think so. No, I don't know. Bird is a Chris, but I don't know if it's that Chris. Gotta get that coffee finished off. Scoot the agua closer. What a great game. Oh, Little Koch. Okay, too many Chris's. I got to keep up. Duh, look at the last name. Duh, Nate. Sorry, Little Koch. Well, we're going to talk about your game. What a great game. 31-38. Tampa Bay, powerful offense, but you got to tip your cap to what Carolina did. And I was sort of joking. I thought he was joking too when he asked what quarterback should he start. I said Kenny Pickett, absolutely, hands down. Kenny Pickett had a great game. 221, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 5 times as Tampa Bay really got after the quarterback. Ryder doing what he does, almost 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, but only sacked twice. You can see the receiving leaders, Godwin and Palmer. Man, they're just almost unstoppable. Rushing game, Tucker had a really good game. So did Miles Sanders, though, to keep Carolina in this one. And they just fall barely short against Tampa Bay. Minnesota Vikings fall to the Seattle Seahawks 41-17. This was a tough ask for Fleury. I mean, Seahawks, top 3 team, maybe in the entire league, much less here in the NFC. This is a tough matchup to have to face right off the bat in the wild card round for a team that, like, I don't even know if he got over 500. I don't know if there was a below 500 team that won that division or not. 2 turnovers for the Seattle Seahawks, picking off or getting 2 turnovers of the Minnesota Vikings. You can see time of possession really in their favor, 22-17. They just put up points from the very get-go and continue to keep their foot on the pedal. 21-7, 10-7, 10-3 to finish out the game, 41-17. Brad White had a great game, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns. Sherrod, who's played really well since moving over from Las Vegas, I almost said Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders over to Minnesota, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions, only a 40% completion percentage. Algiers did his best, though, to kind of keep them in this 14 for 70. Pretty good running game there for them. Metcalf always takes the top off of every defense. 4 for 119 and 2 touchdowns on the day as Seattle kind of cruises to a victory. That sets up San Francisco-Seattle rematch part 3 for this season. And that one kind of got a little bit out of hand there in Dallas versus Tampa Bay. Let's come to the other side really quick, though. Now let's finish this off. We'll finish off how we got here, and then we'll go to the AFC. San Francisco definitely had a game plan. There was an FPR filed on this. Ended up having a couple of different people watch this one. Sort of fell that we didn't think anything was wrong. Though I did have to have a conversation with Mr. D-Money about passing the ball a bit more, only 2 passes in the first half, but it really spoke to what San Francisco's game plan was going into this game. We're going to slow the ball down, slow the game control down. We're going to control the clock. We're going to make you play our style. We're going to make you play our pace. And that sort of led to Seattle sort of pushing it and grinding it out there in the second half. They were up, what would the score be here? 24-14. So they're up 10 going into halftime. And that's where we've seen San Francisco sort of just continue to take control. 14 and 17 in the third and fourth quarters, respectively, but also shutting down the Seattle Seahawks. 3 turnovers for the Seahawks. That's what San Francisco does. They force you into some really tough plays in a 21 to 18 minute time of possession that we see really grow there in the second half. Trey Lance only 6 for 11. He did get over the threshold, 54%. So Seattle's defense doing a pretty good job there in the pass game. White sort of struggled. Only 207 passing yards, 3 interceptions, and a 62% completion percentage. Pacheco, 26 for 206 and 4. Just grinding it out. Walker had a pretty good day, though. 16 for 70. Just didn't get enough carries. There was actually an 80-20 rule kind of broke here, but it was only broke by 1. And I just never going to hammer a guy for breaking it by 1. Watson, 7 for 98. Metcalf, only 1 for 53. So you could see the game plan here. We're going to run. We're going to try to keep the clock going. We're going to try to keep long drives going, wear you out, and we're going to completely take Metcalf out of this game. We're going to force you to go somewhere else. And they sort of did go into Watson. It's not that kind of impact that we see Metcalf have on games. And looking at the defense really fast, tackles for loss is going to be Bosa. You can see the tackles, though. Mathis with 12, Love with 11, Warner with 10. So those middle linebackers, those linebackers really flying around, making plays on both sides of the ball. Adams with a sack, Beal with a sack, and then interceptions, Walker, McGuire, and Pouncey. Man, they have cornerbacks for days in San Francisco and a big 45-24 victory. It's so hard when you play teams 3 different times in a season to come up with a new game plan. You sort of have to tip your cap that D-Money did what I've almost never seen him do. Sort of slowed it down, really ran heavy, and it ended up putting up a ton of points there with the 3 turnovers. Dallas with a 29-14 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dallas, again, Mr. Consistent, efficient offense, really good defense. If you can keep Tampa Bay below 28, you have been super successful. They only put up 14-7 in each half. You can see the passing yards way down for Tampa Bay, 137, only 89 on the ground. And look at the offensive numbers for Dallas. Just Mr. Consistent, 193 passing, 136 rushing. They're going to turn you over. 5 turnovers for the Dallas defense in time of possession, 23-16. Really got out of hand there in the second half. 80% passing. Drives you insane when you feel like you're playing really good defense and the other guy goes 70, 75, 80, 85% passing. It's like, golly, I can't stop drives. I can't sustain anything. I can't get any kind of rhythm and momentum going. Ryder with a tough day, 4 interceptions, only 47% completion percentage. Pollard, bounce back game, 14 for 92. You can see sort of that game plan begin to adjust. Henry, 7 for 27. Tucker, 6 for 41. And looking at the defense, which is really where Dallas continues to shine. Van Ness with a sack and a half. I'm not even going to try to say that. Sack and a half. Braun with a sack. Williams with a sack. Parsons with a sack. Not even going to say that one. Dallas really just got after the quarterback. Brahma, Makumo, probably not saying that right. Shadows, Diggs, 4 interceptions of Tampa Bay leads to Dallas facing San Francisco here in the NFC Championship, which, live update, tomorrow afternoon, exact time soon. So they're playing tomorrow, which is making Bill need an adult beverage somewhere right at this moment because he's ready to go. He's ready to get things rocking and rolling. All right, let's look over the AFC where we had some amazing games. We got to talk about the Buddy Bowl. We actually touched on this one a little bit last week, but Little Koch is here in the chat, comes away with a big victory over his buddy, 38-35. That third quarter was absolutely crazy for both of these teams. What would that be? 36 points scored in the third quarter combined between these two teams. 6 turnovers for the Cincinnati Bengals. That's just not something that they do. They usually play really efficient football, kind of slow it down. They'll hit you deep, pick you a piece, run it, tight end, big deep shot. He sort of spread you out, but I feel like Little Koch and the Desperados have sort of become the mini-me of that. He'll do the same thing. He's got a lot of speed, just sort of run it at you, pick you apart, medium, and he's going to take those deep shots. And it worked out really well here for them with the 23 minutes to 16 minutes time of possession. Dry Stick had a great game, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions kind of sucked, but the 3 touchdowns and a 56% completion percentage. Joe Burrow, don't know where these struggles came from, but 6 interceptions on the day that really hurt him. McGee, 11 for 139. Holy cow, 3 touchdowns. McGee having a hell of a game, but only 11 carries on the day. Mixon a pretty good day, 10 for 105. He had a long of 66 on the day. Chubb, 18 for 71. Nobody else really touched the ball a whole ton. There's Barkley. There's the deep shot we were talking about, 5 for 147. Here's the guy that drives you insane, 4 for 98. Maybe we got to look at some FPR there. No, I guess we're good. I think we're good. 4 or 5. Anyway, I don't want to do this. Looking at some defense, which there wasn't a ton of defense in this one, but we did see a couple of sacks here from Garrett and Hills. We did see a couple of interceptions. Denzel Ward almost going to the Pro Bowl in this game alone. 3 interceptions. Newsome with 2, 5 combined there. Awuzie with 1 and Radley with 1. Now moving on to the champion. Well, I guess he's not the champion. He's the past champion. Who's the? It was Trey's the champion this past year. Anyway, Mr. Bronco Man falls to the Miami Dolphins 31-24. And I said it. He didn't believe me, but I did say it. I said, if you get in a shootout in this one, it's going to be tough to win. And he's like, no, my offense is great. It's my defense that sucks. And, well, he's not wrong there either, but he only put up 24 points in this one. 17 points scored for Miami late in this one. So this one went really deep. Orlando was in control, and it sort of just got away from him. 161 rushing yards, 194 passing yards. On the other side, they did a pretty good, decent job against Miami. 152 rushing, that sucks, but 142 passing is pretty good against that quarterback. 2 turnovers, though, for Orlando is what ended up hurting him the worst. And look at this time of possession, 27 minutes to 12 minutes, and somehow they still win the game. Hitchens, not a great game. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's good. 75% completion percentage. So it looks like he did what San Francisco did a little bit later, but funny, no FPR on this one. 148 passing yards. Richardson, 59%, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 204 on the day. Looking at some quick rushing leaders, 99 for Taylor. It's going to be the best day that he had. Nothing really to be said here in the passing game, and looking at some defense, which played really exceptionally well today. Underwood, Durham each had a sack. Your interceptions, Terrell and Kahoo. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly either, but really good game there. Condors fall just short. Miami moves on. Then the Baltimore Ravens, we talked a lot about them and the run that they have gone on, and it started with a really great game here in Kansas City. Baltimore wins this one 31-24. Pretty even, close game all the way through. Only one turnover in this game, and knowing, because I played both of these guys this season, that's how they play. They're not going to put it in harm's way a whole lot. They're going to run it evenly. They're going to pass it really efficiently. You're going to see some play action. They're going to try to make plays on you on defense. 124-143 rushing yards, 227-241. Just a good, even matchup. I wish I could have called this game, because this seems like the kind of game we want to see in the OMFL. Just two guys, both with great skill, both of them playing great games and pushing this one to the very, very end. Lamar Jackson, 227. Mahomes, 241 on the day. Kind of scrolling down over here. 73% to 69%. One touchdown, one interception. Both of these guys playing really good football. Winners with 87. Lake with 79. Just what an even matchup. Flowers had the best day over here. 5 for 117, Rice 5 for 56. And then looking at the defense, those interceptions got to be a cornerback. It's going to be Mitchell. He plays really great as he uses him. And then there's no sacks on the day. So a great matchup there in the AFC wildcard round. Leads to the Jets and the Desperados, the Dolphins versus the Ravens. Let's look at the Jets and Desperados. Sorry, Little Koch, to kind of bring this one up, but such is life. You learn a lot of lessons. The Jets seemed to be a man on a mission in this one. 24 points scored in the fourth quarter. So San Antonio trying to make a comeback late in this one, just not able to get enough stops of the New York Jets, who put up 21 points in the first half. So a big hole to sort of grind their way out of, but they almost did the full and complete comeback. It's hard, though, when you give up 205 rushing yards as they do, only one turnover on the day, whereas the Jets had 2 turnovers. And then looking at time of possession, 16-23. Dristic, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 305 passing. Looks like the Jets had to use 2 different quarterbacks here. Cook, though, looks like he played maybe a little bit longer. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Zach Wilson seemed to have a pretty good day going, but probably got hurt in this one. Hall, 17 for 161 on the day. Nobody else really had anything else going. Barkley kept his playoff streak alive, just playing great. 7 for 161 and 1 touchdown. That guy might be an import. He's going to cause problems in this league for a long time. Probably be a OMFL Hall of Famer before this one's all done. Stanley with 11 tackles on the day. Townsend and Plock, what a crazy name there, with some tackles for loss. Townsend, Plock, Ingram, each with some sacks and some interception leaders. Jordan, Ward, and Gardner. Ward just played outstanding this playoffs for the San Antonio. I got to slow that down. San Antonio Desperados, but they fall just short. Great season from them. They should be really proud. Little Koch, I'm expecting to get over the hump next year and get all the way in there. Baltimore Ravens versus the Miami Dolphins, a 21-14 game in this one. And again, Miami not showing that offensive firepower that I sort of expected to see from them, especially this entire playoffs. Instead, they played really great defense and sort of had to grind it out on offense. They scored 14-7 going into half of this one, and it was all Baltimore there in the second half. 131 rushing yards to 115, 166 passing yards to 185, but it was only 1 turnover from each of them, playing crazy, efficient football, 17 minutes to 22 minutes in this one. Hutchinson, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jackson, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Both of them at 63% completion percentage. Lake, 95 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day to help Baltimore get that victory. Waddle, 5 for 78 and 1 touchdown. Andrews had 3 for 71. I'm always thinking FPR whenever I see these tight ends at the very tippy top. These guys will use their tight ends really efficiently. Just got to stay within that FPR. Gay with a big day, 9 tackles on the day, tackles for loss. Monroe had 3, 2 sacks from Street, 1.5 from Monroe, 1 from Jerome Wayne. So really getting after the Miami quarterbacks. Flellman's had 1, and then your interceptions, 1 from Smith and 1 from Davis. Miami and Massimo, he was there. He was contending every single season, just not able to get over the hump. And for me, it was really the play of his quarterback, Hitchison. He just didn't play up to sort of the level I expected him to sort of step into. And that sets up the Baltimore Ravens as a 5 versus the New York Jets as a 1. And then San Francisco as a 1 versus Dallas as a 2. We've got what a really good matchup here in the AFC and NFC Championship. AFC live check-in. I don't know if we have a time for that one yet. Nothing posted. I'm sure we'll see that one here pretty soon. Both those guys they can be pretty quiet in our chats. There's nobody here in chat with me, so I don't know where everybody's at. But if you want to type in chat, tell me who do you think is going to win these 2 games? Jets, Baltimore, San Francisco, and Dallas. I don't know why I said Jets, Baltimore, New York Jets, and Baltimore Ravens. San Francisco 49ers, Dallas Cowboys. Let me know who you think are winning that. Who's going to represent OMFL Bowl? I think my pick, I'd have to go back and watch, but I think I got Jets in San Francisco in this one, and that pick is still alive. Unfortunately, Maniac's not with me, so he could tell me who he picked. That's who we both think is going to make it. All right, let's turn it over to Denbrew for some OMFL news, and then we're going to look at the draft, and then we're going to open up the mailbag, which currently to this point is absolutely empty. So here we go.
Welcome back to the OMFL News Season 109 Conference Championship Week. I missed you guys last week. Took a quick fishing trip with my brother down to Tennessee. The fishing was not great, but it was awesome to get to spend some time with my brother. He's a handful of years older than me, so very cool that we could still hang out. Anyway, let's talk about the OMFL. Let's see what we got going on in the OMFL. We got it's time to get those incentives turned in. It's time to submit any rule change suggestions if you should have some. I think we got about 4 or 5 already up, which is cool. And we have the end of season awards to vote on. It's time to submit your photo of the year. The Pro Bowl teams will be coming out very soon. And then we will have the draft, which is always a blast. What else? Toilet Bowl. We had a great turnout for the Toilet Bowl for this season. 11 teams took part. We're down to the Final 4 of the Toilet Bowl, so that's awesome. OMFL playoffs have been cool. Very good to follow. We are down to the Final 4 there as well. 3 division winners and 1 wild card team are left standing. 58-10 combined record for those 4 teams in the regular season, so we got 4 of the best teams in the OMFL left standing. And I will be back in just a minute. We'll touch base on those final 4 teams, but until then, let's go back to Nate. Let's go back to Maniac. See you.
Thank you, Mr. Denbrew. Appreciate you. Thanks for doing the news. Hope the fishing trip was great. I know he said it was great, but even a bad day of fishing is a pretty good day. You know what I'm saying, Randy? I think it is, at least, because I never get to go fishing. Okay. I want to look at the draft really quick, and this is honestly where I was hoping Maniac was going to be able to be with me because, well, the honest truth is I never had a chance to kind of load this up and check it out and kind of give my own. Let's look at a couple of mock drafts. We'll look at a couple of prospects and kind of break it down. I think Mr. Bill actually posted, because I remember updating it today, what we have the draft order. I'm just give you our top 10. So right now that's Rams, Packers, Eagles, Jaguars, Broncos, Saints, Lions, Raiders, Titans, and Mounties. That's sort of how it's breaking down right now. Do we have a second mock draft? We do. Do we have a third? We do not. So looking at a second mock draft, I don't even remember when this came out, but clearly it's not totally all the way up to date. They have Shaq Cobb, right tackle, going number 1 overall. That's never going to happen in the OMFL. Left tackle, Bruce Grimm, also never going to happen in the OMFL. And then Parker Minner going over to the Eagles. Parker Holtz going over to the Jaguars. Aaron Ingram going over to the Cardinals. Connor Ness, left tackle, going over to the Raiders. There's no way this many offensive linemen go this early. Tim Bush, left end, going over to the Detroit Titans. And Detroit Lions. Golly, wake up. Detroit Lions, you're getting Tim Bush. I was thinking Tim and Tim Bush and trying to say that, and I said Titan. Okay, you follow me. Chris Jackson, left tackle, going to the Giants. Again, there's no way this many offensive linemen are going, so who cares? We're not even going to look at this anymore. Let's get over here and look at a couple of prospects. Rams going number 1 overall. They got their quarterback last year, but they have a brand new owner. He's actually Randy's over here in the chat. Good to see you, bud. Thanks for participating. I don't really know where they go. I would have to lean towards, there's a pretty good foundational defense over there. They could go wide receiver. You got wide receiver Carlos Phillips up over here, playmaker, 6'3", 201 out of Alabama. That could be a potential pick there. It's going to be depending on speed here. I wouldn't think he would go Rasheed Pleasance. It's going to be a physical guy. Usually those guys are a bit more small or a bit slower, I should say. I would expect him to maybe go here with Carlos Phillips. I don't think he's going to go with, a quarterback, maybe a running back, even though I think you can get one of those a little bit later in the draft. Wide receiver, in my opinion, or cornerback, because this guy right here is an absolute superstar stud. I really see that one happening pretty easily. Packers are going to be at number 2. And I got to be honest, I felt like the Packers and Priest had a really good draft last year. It's going to be a tough season this year. He's trying to get more draft picks, move some more players, kind of open up some things for him again this season. I think he could go just about anywhere. Wide receiver, though, I would sort of be my pick. It depends on what the Rams do. If the Rams take a cornerback, then he's going wide receiver. He's taking one of these top playmakers. I don't think he takes offensive linemen, but maybe he surprises me and sort of sticks to it. But I always think if you're that high in the draft, you can trade back a little bit, get some more assets, and still get your offensive lineman or an equal value offensive lineman. If for whatever reason the Rams do go wide receiver, that cornerback's going to fly off the board to Green Bay. I could see him picking him up pretty quickly. Eagles need some playmaking ability. Now, I don't fully think, I'd have to go check. I don't think that they have a quarterback. I would like to see him take a quarterback if not. I know that Rex Manning Jr. could be his guy. I'd have to look at his team here. Let's pull up our old trusty Neon Sports. Where are we going to put this? Let's put this over here. What does Neon Sports say about our buddy? Yeah, he still has Jalen Hurts, X Factor. I know. Look, I get it. He's got all the stats. I also believe he just does not like playing with him. He's also going to be thinking about next Madden. I think Rex Manning Jr. could be the pick. I don't think he'll do that. I think he should. Could go halfback. Again, I think you can get a halfback a bit later in the draft. He could even go wide receiver where he's getting older. 29, 27, 28 are going to be his top rated guys. So you could see him go wide receiver. I'm looking for skill positions to go off the board really, really quick in this draft. That's definitely going to be one there. With the Jaguars and Mr. Pepper at number, what is it going to be? Number 4. I'm probably not going to go through all of these because it's going to take me way too long since I'm by myself here. Looking at the Jaguars really quick. What are you doing here, Neon Sports? I hit the wrong button. That's what he's doing. Jaguars at number 4. Clearly does not need quarterback, right? Definitely does not need halfback. Doesn't need. He could probably go tight end, but I think he's got. I'm sitting here talking. I hit the mute button, so I don't know where y'all stop hearing me. Anyway, he's not going quarterback. He's not going wide receiver. He could go, he's not going running back. I don't think he's going tight end. Could go wide receiver, though he's got some young playmakers. The Taki kid, absolutely amazing. Could go offensive line. That's probably their weakest area, one of their weakest areas. I just don't know. You take an offensive lineman at 4. That just feels like a tough pick to make. All those dudes sort of feel the same. They don't bring a ton of impact. And I don't know where Pepper's mind is. Is he not really care about the last season? He's sort of thinking imports. And so we're going to learn about teams as we go through the last draft. Are they thinking import last season? This is sort of building for next cycle. Or no, like I want to win next season and I'll worry about imports later. Or if imports come along the way, we'll do that. Offensive lineman, definitely a need here. I like his defensive line, though he's got playmakers everywhere on that defensive line. Maybe he could use a defensive tackle, but he took one last season. He is getting somewhat older on the defensive line in some spots. He's got tons of playmakers, though. Linebacker might be a pick here. Offensive lineman, I think is going to be the pick, right? And Bruce Grimm, if you were just had to force me to pick one. If not, then I'm looking at linebacker. It's probably the second place. Maybe defensive tackle. I don't think there's a defensive tackle worth taking this high. I think you just watch him take the fastest, quickest linebacker that he has rated highest on his board, Drew Bennett. Of course, we don't have combine stats just yet, but a speed rusher, you know he's going to have some speed. That might be the pick there for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Looking at our next team, who do we have next? Oh, the Broncos. Our guy Jay Glaze, the Broncos and their needs. Look, he picked up his quarterback. He's 89 overall, superstar. Javonte Williams at 26 is still getting it done. Not a lot of speed at halfback. I think he will at some point need to add to the speed of that team. Looking at his tight ends, they're okay. He's got tons of speed there. Not a ton of depth. He's starting getting aging there with Fant. I can see him taking a tight end at some point in this draft. Wide receiver feels like the biggest need. He's got one sort of speedster, a lot of sort of low-rated guys. Wide receiver, he's limited. He's only got 5 guys on the roster. Offensive line, not too bad. He's got some really good playmakers there. Could use a center. Might see him take a center. Feels really high for a center, though. Defensive line could use some help. Maybe a defensive lineman here, though. Peter Lawrence, which I think was his first-round draft pick last year, was 77 overall hidden development. Maybe he adds to that offensive lineman. I don't know. He's got some stars there, so maybe not. Though there's sort of a mixed bag of different sort of abilities there. He's got pretty good linebackers. I like his linebacker room. I like his cornerback room. So for me, it's going to be offensive line, wide receiver, and maybe you start to see a couple of these offensive linemen come right off the board here. And my Saints are 6. I'm not going to break it down for my Saints, and I'm not going to break it down lower. I will say Rodgers, you should grab a quarterback. I'm not wasting another pick on a quarterback. It's never going to happen. It's just not. I can't. I'm stuck with who I got. Last draft was the draft to get one. I didn't get a terrible one. I just need to learn how to play this game better. Looking at these top draft picks, though, right now on the board, Dylan Marshall's number 1 projected guy out of Stanford, 6'2", 188. Aaron Ingram, the wide receiver out of Georgia, 6'3", 211. Bryce Grimm out of Arkansas, 6'7", 327. That's a big old boy. Carlos Phillips out of Alabama, 6'3", 201. Rashad Pleasant, 6'2", 235 out of California. I will not ask Randy to give me their top 5, but you guys, give me your top 5. Rex Manning, when do we see the first quarterback go off the board? Probably somebody going to trade up. Maybe not. Not a lot of quarterback needy teams. Maybe guys sort of stay put. You're going to see wide receivers fly off quick. You're going to see offensive linemen at some point. It's going to hit a point, and we're going to see a run of offensive linemen. I think you're going to see defensive linemen fall because we all realize no matter what you have, probably not going to get a whole ton of pressure. You're going to see linebacker continue to fall. Cornerbacks, there's not many, right? Cornerbacks are pretty few and far between in this draft, but I think you're going to see a run on whatever speed is there. It's going to go quick. It's going to be slim pickings after sort of probably the middle half of the first round. Guys are going to reach, and I think that's going to cause some other really good players to fall in this draft. I think safety will be a position that if you need, you're going to get a good player. Quarterback, if you stay put, I think you'll get a good player to fall to you. Running back is never a position we see anymore in the OMFL invested into. I think there will be some speedy offense or halfbacks go in this one. Wide receiver, it's going to go early. It's going to be going. Wide receiver and cornerback, the two skilled positions, I think we're going to see go pretty quick. And there will be a run at some point on offensive linemen. I do think there's a ton of really good offensive linemen right here at left tackle. You got Graham, Ness, Jackson, all rated in the first round. Left guard, you got Connors. Center, nobody center. Center's always sort of a weak position. Hint, hint, Roger, wink, wink. Crowder, 1, Bright, 1, 2, McLean, 1, 2. So a couple potential guys there. And then Brian and Cobb and Wakefield and Walther over here in the right tackle. So if you need a tackle, this is definitely going to be the draft that you can get one. All right, going back to Mr. Denbrew for the OMFL news. And when we come back, we're going to talk off season. We're going to talk about the game plan, what's to come, sort of where we are with FPR right now, and sort of how I'm viewing last season. All right, take it away, Denver.
All right, segment 2, we're back. Let's take a quick look at the OMFL playoffs and our matchups. Over in the AFC, it's the Baltimore Ravens, led by none other than Mackey, a.k.a. Nips, traveling to the Big Apple to face off against Kobe and the New York Jets. In the NFC, we have a number 2 seed Dallas Cowboys and D. Wayne heading over to the Bay Area to match up with the number 1 seed San Francisco 49ers and D. Money. And I am not going to break down these teams individually, but I did have the opportunity to play 3 of the 4 remaining playoff teams in the regular season. I can tell you that they are all deserving. They are all very good. And any of the 4 that are left would be very deserving to win the OMFL Bowl this season. They're all tough. But I do have numbers, as I always like to have numbers because I like numbers. So I'll throw these at you. These 4 teams have combined for over 17,000 yards passing and have thrown 161 combined touchdowns and only 53 interceptions. That's insane. Only 53 picks, 161 touchdowns, and only 53 interceptions. On the ground, these 4 teams combined for just over 10,000 yards rushing and 104 rushing touchdowns. That's crazy. On defense, all 4 of these teams can get after you, man. So, I mean, if you just look at them, they kind of do it differently a little bit, you know what I mean? D-Money likes to pass. D-Money likes to run the ball as much as he possibly can with Pacheco. D-Wayne likes to run the ball as much as he can with Tony Pollard and his guys. Nips is kind of balanced. I feel like Kobe's balanced. Kobe's balanced until he gets down inside the red zone, and then he likes to throw the ball. He's got a ton of touchdowns and very few interceptions down there. But they all 4 are really similar on defense. They get a bunch of turnovers with the interceptions, and they all 4 pressure the passer really well. So anyway, they combined to sack the opposing quarterback 182 times, these 4 teams did. And then they were all awesome at getting interceptions, 158 combined interceptions. It's going to be really good games these last couple of games that we have. I'm excited to see it. Good luck to everybody. Shout out to everybody that made the playoffs. Shout out to everybody that participated in the toilet bowl. And I'm going to throw it back to Maniac and Nate. See ya.
No booze and brews. Boo, didn't brew. I always enjoy booze and brew. Yeah, booze and brews, right? Yeah, I think that's what it was. Anyway, I always like that. All right, off season's almost upon us. You got to turn in your off-season incentive plan if you are participating. If you've never seen it, I did link it for you. Look, you get points for retweeting us on Twitter, running an active Twitter account, liking YouTube videos, uploading YouTube videos, using our thumbnails, producing shows, being a guest on shows, making highlight videos, written content, league site. What else we got here? How long you've been here? Like in the seasons, you get a bonus. Participating in fantasy football or pick'em or any of those games. Participating in the toilet bowl. Your Discord chat letter. Submit an instant classic game. Attend the draft show. Submit mailbag questions. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Recruit an owner to the Deuce and submit a custom playbook. You get points for all that stuff, and it's just easy. It just awards you for participating, being engaged in our league, and it's something that I love that we've created, and it's free. Just figure out what you've done, what you've participated in, and make sure that you submit your points to us so that we can get you some awards for that. So we give bronze, silver, and gold. There's sort of different levels of different things that you get in as being a part of that, and we also have our platinum incentive, which is for donating to the league. So that's up, that's ready. Also, our owner submitted questions, they're back. And so if you're like, hey, there's a rule, there's an FPR, there's a suggestion that I'd like to see, let's get that one submitted. So right now is the time. That's going to close here pretty soon before the draft. We're going to get that all wrapped up. We're having some discussions about a couple of them. Some quick updates. The Maniac one's a little in the air, so turning off abilities for the last season. Currently, that's sort of midway or so. It's sort of half and half, maybe not half. It's actually leaning towards turning them off. Fleury's suggestion of allowing the slant D line. Looks like it's probably going to pass. It's being close to passing. There's a couple of us that have voted no, but it's pretty close to passing. Cincy's about no RPO. That's probably not going to pass as written, but we are discussing another suggestion. And so I don't know how this is going to play out, but it will either... I can't tell you what it's going to be, but we do have another suggestion. If it isn't just no RPOs within the 5, might end up looking something like the shotgun run, where it's no RPO out of the 3+ wide inside the 10. We got to look at that in shotgun. Those are two things that we're sort of discussing together. Joker's suggestion of no juke move is denied. I just need to post that. Yeah, no one voted for it. And so that one sort of got closed out pretty quickly. And I think that's where we are. Biggest thing is manage your salary cap. Don't go over the salary cap. Don't go over the salary cap penalty limit, which is at 12 or 10 for this season. Go check FPR. I will look really fast to see if I can find it. It is at 12 million. So from this, for the rest of the cycle, starting last season, it's at 12 million. You can earn 5 more with gold, 2 more with silver, 1 more with bronze, but you got to earn that through the incentive award. Remember your limit on trades. Just follow all of the FPR. It's simple. It's here. It's easy to read. Make sure that you do that. We got the OMFL bowl game that's going to be coming up. As soon as we get our 2 teams in there, they're going to work with me. We're going to pick a time 24 hours after that game is set to get it commentated. Hopefully my guy, Mr. Maniac, will be able to make it. We'll commentate that game. Always a ton of fun. Come participate. The chats are a blast in that one. And then for draft night, there'll be a draft night vote that goes up. Vote for the night that you want to see it on. We'll probably do the whole vote for all the nights that you could attend, and we just try to pick the one that has the most. But also come participate, man. The chats are a ton of fun. We take call-ins for that. It's always a blast to have that one final season before we take a bit of a break, even though the final season won't even start till probably a week, maybe a week and a half into May. We always go pretty much 2 months on the dot, so it's going to bring us all the way into July. It'll be a couple of week break, and by then we'll have NCAA to keep us busy. We will probably keep some kind of fun Madden League going for those who want to continue to play Madden, but come participate, come have fun, and come August 1, we're thinking imports. The game's going to drop soon after, sometime in that time frame. It usually drops within the first 2 weeks of August. I mean, we've seen it push it towards a little bit later August, but normally it falls sometime in that middle of August, and then we're busy, man. We're making imports. We're getting the league up. We're testing things. We have the big stream launch. It's a ton of fun. It's going to be a blast, so make sure that you come participate. That's it. No mailbag questions, nothing else. Chat's pretty dead today. I don't know what happened to chat, but as you can see, just got a couple of you guys hanging out with me in chat. So it feels like a typical Monday for some reason, but low key right now. Come plug back in with us. I know the playoffs have been going on. Toilet Bowl, we're down to just a couple of teams. I think it was the Final Four the last time that I checked. We got Colin, Maniac, Joker, and Cincyberg. So it's Maniac versus Colin, Cincy versus Joker. And we're going to be off to another OMFL Toilet Bowl champion. Always a ton of fun. So come check it out. Come participate. Come hang out with us. We love and appreciate you. Thank you, Dim Brew, for another great season of OMFL News. Thank you, Cincyberg, for another great season of OMFL betting lines. Thank you to my guy, Lost Sniper, that puts up quietly, sort of behind the scenes, putting in so much work for fantasy football, for the pick'em, for the gold sheet. I appreciate you. I love you. I love you guys, man. And I'm up against a pretty big professional decision for myself, possibly here pretty soon. And part of the mindset is like, how does it affect my time for this community? Not that I make life decisions with this community, but this plays a role in my life because I enjoy making this space, having these spaces for you guys. And I understand that, like me, this is a hobby that we all enjoy. And for me, this is my circle. I don't really have boys that I hang out with. I don't go bowling or hunting or fishing. I don't get to do any of those things. This is sort of my hobby, my unplugged spot. And so hopefully you guys view it the same. I also had a ton of fun making all these graphics. They're a lot of work, but they're also a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys are getting a kick out of those too. Take care of yourselves. Happy Monday. I got to get ready for church. You can hear the voices already starting to go. I got to get some more water in me, get ready for tonight. I love you. I appreciate you. Plug in with the community. If you're part of the OMFL, check out some of the other leagues, the other communities, the other guys around here, a lot of good people, and plug back in with the OMFL because there's a lot of really cool things happening as we get ready for the off season. I love you. Take care of yourself. I'll see you on the next one. All right. Peace.
Smash that like and subscribe.